Yo, this is Real Talk E. Welcome to the locker room. We talk nothing about basketball. If you want to be part of the locker room, you obviously have to be part of the team. In order for you to be part of the team, you have to subscribe and share the video to not only be part of the team in the locker room, but also be a part of our daily basketball conversations so that you don't miss nights of basketball like this. Now, we had 3 playoff games going on last night, and to be honest with you, I like 2 out of the 3. So let's go ahead and get started with our first game of the night. We're going to be talking about them backwards. Start off with the Clippers-Suns series, which is tied 1-1 finally. And the Suns had to win this game. It was a must-win game for them. And on top of that, the big 3 for the Suns not only showed up, but the entire starting lineup came through and they showed up. And there's a couple things I want to say about this too. One, Kawhi Leonard in the first half was dominating. He had like 16 points in the first half. And they started, double teaming him in the second half. And honestly, I think he ended the game with 31. So I don't know how much of a difference that really made. Maybe just like the fact that it wasn't as effective as it was in the first half, but he still ended the game like 31. Westbrook ended the game like 28 points. So I don't know why the fans were yelling at him Westbrook and stuff like that, because he had 28 points. And on top of that, we had the Clippers just didn't show up, in the second half. I mean, the first half they were up, right? Eventually they go up by 12 points, and then the Suns fight back. Like, they were outplaying the Suns like the first 20 minutes of the game, and the last 4 minutes the Suns fight back, and then Booker turns it up, and pretty much from there is like all Suns. And no matter what the Clippers tried to do, the Suns had an answer, they had a response, and the Clippers just were never able to retake the lead. And after the Suns were down 12 and Book starts going crazy, and it's tied 59-59 at halftime. We get to the third quarter, and this is where Booker scored 18 points of his 38 in the third quarter. 18 of 38 in the third quarter. And he scored 25 points in half. Which is like an ironic stat, is that Book had 38 points this game and 25 points, I believe, in the second half. And then Kawhi Leonard had 38 points in the first game. I believe he had 25 points in the second half, which is a crazy stat to me. But, really insane. And it shows you how much it's going to take for either team to win. And as if right now, both sides look like they're really good matchups. And this series can go 6 or 7. I am interested to see what happens when we go to LA. Game 3, Game 4 are in LA. So I want to see what happens when we get there. Can the Suns win one and regain home court advantage? What will happen? Can Kawhi and the Clippers basically go up 3-1? Like, there's so many things that can happen here. How would Ty Lue come out? How is he going to coach? He's never been the type of coach to just fold. He usually is, very good at adapting in the playoffs and in the game. So I wonder how he's going to come out, how he's going to coach the next game. And I wonder how Monty's going to come out too. Well, how is he going to coach the next game? Because it's a lot that's going on. And plus, I don't like the bench for the Suns. I mean, TJ Warren should not be having 0 points. He was not doing this in Brooklyn. He was not doing this on the Pacers. Why is he having 0 points on the Suns? Landry Shamet should not be playing that many minutes. He should not be playing minutes at all, in my opinion, because we have Josh Okogie, Terrence Ross, TJ Warren, and those guys, honestly, in my opinion, should have the ball, and they should be the ones, scoring or getting shots and, kind of playing defense. Because I feel like with Landry Shamet, he's very, he can score, he can shoot, right? I'm not going to say he can score. My fault. I apologize. Take that back. But he can shoot, right? Every now and then, some games he'll go and give you 5 threes, and then some games he's not hitting his threes, and damn well he's not going to play defense. He's a liability on defense. And now you're hurting yourself on both sides of the court. But if Josh Okogie's on the court, he can shoot the ball. He could play defense. He just needs confidence, needs time. If you put TJ Warren, he could score. I mean, he's proven not really much, but defensively he can do something. He's better than Shamet, and he's bigger than him, so automatically he could do something. And then Terrence Ross, he's a scorer. You put him in, he's a punch off the bench, a nice 6 man off the bench, especially now that Cameron Payne is out. I don't know how long he's gonna be out for. He's also is not having his best season either, so I really wonder what's gonna happen. I mean, he had like a week or two where he was going crazy, and then once they traded for KD, it's like he's not the same anymore. So I really wonder how this is gonna turn out. The Suns need a scoring punch off the bench, and they need better players off the bench. Um, I don't know what's the whole scenario with a backup big, but hopefully everything's figured out with that. Um, if the Suns need a 16-point game from Chris Paul with clutch buckets in the fourth quarter, a 38.9 assist game from Devin Booker, I believe KD had 27 points, and a 17-point game from Torrey Craig, and a 13 point game from DeAndre Ayton. Obviously a double-double, 14 points, 13 rebounds. Every single night for them to win, GG's. It's going to be hard to win. It's going to be hard to get to the playoffs in terms of like deep in the playoffs. It's going to be hard to get to the finals. It's going to be hard to even get to the conference finals, or even let alone just get out the series. It's going to be really, really hard, really complicated, and I wonder how they're going to do it. I wonder what's going to happen. And then with all this being said, what's going to happen if Paul George comes back? That's something that nobody has thought about. That's something nobody's talking about. When Paul George comes back, obviously some of these guys will not be taking as many shots. I don't know if Westbrook's going to be having 28 points a game, but if PG comes back, that's another body that the Suns got to guard. Now there's more trouble. Now it's Kawhi and Paul George. Now it's, two scorers on the court and two-way players, really good defenders. So there's a body for Book and there's a body for KD. In terms of DA, CP, they're gonna have to show up. They're gonna have to do something. I don't know. Like somebody's gonna have to do something. And the Suns need to take care of business before Paul George comes back. Because I'm telling you, if PG comes back and the Suns are still struggling to make it out, even trying to make it like known that they're gonna win this series, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a really, really, really big problem for the Suns team, and that's why they need to take care of business now. On top of that, we had the Celtics go up against the Hawks for our next game, and obviously, I expect this game to be won by the Celtics, and I also expect the series to be swept by the Celtics. And therefore, I will not be speaking about it too much, but we all know, come on, like, let's not sugarcoat things. The Celtics got this in the bag. They're up 2-0, and pretty much they're going to go to Atlanta. They might give up one game, maybe like game 4 or something, maybe game 3, and then come back and win it at home. But they're not about to lose 2 in a row. And if that happens, then I don't know what the hell's going on in the league. But the Celtics should be able to win this. It should be a sweep. And the crazy thing is, the Hawks came out scoring. They came out doing good in the first half. And then out of nowhere, on the end of the second half, it was 61-49. And ever since then, the Celtics just never looked back. And if you look at the scoring and stuff like that, Jason Tatum had 29 points. Jaylen Brown did not have his best scoring game, but I'm pretty sure he was playing defense as well because he's a two-way player. But he had double digits. I believe he had somewhere between 15 and 20. I don't remember exactly how much he had. And then you had Derek White really have the 26 points, which was a difference maker for this game and for this team. And the way that Derek White plays and Marcus Smart plays, like any given night, it could be Derek White, it could be Malcolm Brogdon, it could be Marcus Smart. Like any one of them could have 20 points on any given night. And if one of those three guys having 20 points next to whatever Tatum and Jaylen Brown give you, then pretty much GG's. They're gonna win the series. They're gonna win the game. And the Hawks don't really have anybody to guard them. Like, who do the Hawks have to really guard those guys? Like, they don't have much, and they don't really have bodies. And their point guard is the main point to attack on defense. And then the rest of their guys are not really that great. And you look at Clint Capella, and his rebounding wasn't all that yesterday, and his scoring wasn't all that. Like, the fact that I believe he had like 4 points. Clint Capella should be having like 10 points straight off of just alley-oops, just dunks, just catch and dunk. And so that's exactly why I expect the Celtics to win. I do not expect the Hawks to be able to compete with the Celtics, not a single bit. The Hawks have surprised us before, But I don't think this is gonna be one of those years where they surprise us. It's just not something that I believe will happen. Um, yeah, the Celtics got us in the bag. They pretty much got us in the Duffy. They're gonna go to Atlanta, basically just drop them off at home, and just make sure they're safe and sound and stuff like that. And then they're just gonna just come back to Boston. Just wait for the Sixers to finish up their series. Probably gonna finish up around the same time, and just start playing in the second round, and you know see what happens there. That will be a little more competition. A little more of a challenge. But our next game, we had the Cavs go up against the Knicks, and this game was amazing. I mean, the score, I know the final result, it does not look like it was a good game, but I'm telling you, it was a good game. And the Cavs, like the Suns, they had to come back and win this game, right? And because this series going to the Garden, and if anybody knows, okay, the Garden is different from any other arena in sports. Like, they are probably the loudest arena in sports, and to play there and to perform there and win there can be very overwhelming for a lot of players, especially in the playoffs. And now that the Knicks are going back home and they're having a good season, they could take that away from the Cavs, and this could be really big. So, the Cavs had to win this game. They had to even it up at 1-1, go back to New York, try to win one in New York. If you could win two, hey, go win two. But they had to at least win one at home and then try to go back and regain home court advantage, which they did. Um, Darius Garland with 32 points. That was amazing. He had 26 points and a half. First time in his career, something he had to do in order for them to win. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Donovan Mitchell with 13 assists, career high in assists. I mean, when he was on the Jazz, and this is why I feel like it's time to give him his credit, because when he was on the Jazz, and everybody's saying, oh, he's not passing the ball enough. Oh, he needs to pass the ball. He needs to pass the ball. He can't be just a scorer. His scoring is not going to get him nowhere. It's not going to get him too far into the playoffs. He got here, and he has actual good pieces around him that can score, that can catch and shoot, that can catch alley-oops, that can dunk, and he's utilizing that first game. Wasn't the best game he had, but yesterday he had 13 assists, and the Cavs win. They beat New York. The problem is that it was the first time they out rebound New York, and so pretty much it's gonna be a problem. New York is a little more scrappy, a little bit more aggressive, and they're more bigger than them. So we'll see what happens in the next two games in New York. It's, specifically because New York plays like they're bigger than the Cavs, but honestly, the Cavs have 3 7-footers in the starting lineup. So we'll see what happens with that. One of my favorite series as well. I mean, is I have three series I really like. Is this series, and then I like the Lakers, Grizzlies, and the Suns and Clippers. I like these three series. I feel like we could get a lot of them. And a couple more things I want to talk about. De'Aaron Fox won the first ever clutchest player of the league trophy, and he was the first player to get that. Rightfully so. He's been the clutchest player in the league this season, and time after time, when his team needs him the most, in crunch time, he comes up, he shows out, and does what they need and scores. Makes timely buckets. Does not choke under pressure. He's always poised and always holds himself, at a very good level where he's able to, do what he wants to do and get to the places he has to get to on the court. Jaren Jackson Jr. won Defensive Player of the Year. Good for him, honestly, bro. Like, at a certain point, somebody has to win something on the Grizzlies, because MIP for John Morant last year was not it. I'm not gonna lie to you. But defensive player for Jaren Jackson Jr., another player that everybody's been, very like talking and criticizing heavily. This year he pretty much just showed up and he showed out. He played hard, and you could tell, nobody's criticizing him. Nobody's on his case heavy no more. We pretty much let him live, and we see the progress that he's making and the evolution in his game. One thing I would say is, like, are they giving him this trophy because of his blocking numbers, like the stats, or are they giving him this trophy because he's actually you know, playing really, really good defense or some like Brook Lopez type of defense. I don't know. Y'all let me know down below. It's time for you to really comment. Let me know what y'all think down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. This is Real Talk with E, and it's time to leave the locker room. I'm going to catch y'all. Safety.
Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
The officials have to review it. And the Lakers win the game. Banks it in. He banks in the three.
To win it. Good. That's why he's NBA All-Defensive Team. Adebayo, sky high with the block and rejection. This is for the win. Got it. Wow. At 7, working against Butler, got down.